We recently hit a milestone with our Ekotrope ONSITE inspection app. 10,000 homes inspected. I believe out and we're also over like 300,000 photos or something like that, and counting. So we thought it was a good opportunity to stop and reflect a little bit. We launched ONSITE last December, and I guess what have we learned? What has changed over the last 9 months? And where are we going? So um, this webinar is being recorded. It'll be posted and shared afterwards. We also have a Q&A section. So at the bottom of your Zoom, if there's any questions you want to ask, go ahead and drop them in the Q&A. We'll answer some of them along the way, but if not, there will be time at the end to go over questions. All right. Well, I'm Patrick. I'm account manager, customer success manager for raters and providers. Before I was at Ekotrope, I was a HERS rater. We also have Auden, who's been with our team and is a product manager for Ekotrope Rater as well as Ekotrope OnSite. And today we also have Ekotrope OnSite. There will be some demos. We won't be demoing as much the basic on-site functionality. We'll be demoing some other features that are a little bit newer and contribute to on-site. But if you want to specifically dig into how on-site works, feel free to reach out. All right. Today, our agenda, we're going to just high level, what is Ekotrope OnSite? What does it do? Uh, we're going to discuss what raters have learned from using OnSite, what have been some of their takeaways, uh, how have they seen it impact their work. Then we'll talk about our experience, what have we learned from 10,000 inspections, and share uh, some of the how it's informed some of the development decisions we've made. And we'll have some demos there. And then lastly, we'll talk about where it's going. What are some of the new things that we're building, and what are some of the new things that are just around the corner? And then Q&A at the end. Does that sound good, Auden?
Sounds good.
Great. Okay. So this slide may be familiar if you've attended any of our other webinars. But us at Ecotrope, we try to learn as much as we can about HERS raters and their process and how we can support them through software solutions. And one thing we've learned over the years is that HERS raters have a number of pieces of software that do a combination of things. Folks use, an inspection tool for field data collection. They might have a scheduling software. They might have a software they use for photo organization. There might be a project management or billing CRM type software. And then a lot of softwares do a combination of those things. One thing they almost all have in common, though, is Ekotrope Rater as the energy modeling platform. Um, we've talked to lots of HERS rating companies. I don't think we've come across a single company that has the exact same set of software tools, which is pretty, impressive considering, all these companies are essentially selling similar services. So, uh, we're trying to look at what are steps in that workflow that Ekotrope can help with and streamline for raters. So that brought us to Ekotrope OnSite. OnSite is a field data collection tool. That's how it started. It's continuing to evolve. Uh, the OnSite 101, what does it do? It pulls information out of a projected Ekotrope energy model into your field data collection tool. So your inspector, when they're on site, they can see, hey, I'm expecting to see these model numbers. These are my testing goals. This is my CFA, things like that. Then when they complete their data collection, all that information is synced to Ekotrope Rater, so no one has to sit there and copy from a field site visit report into Ekotrope. Also, all the photos are brought in and tagged and named into Ekotrope. So the photo management is automated as well. Lastly, also a site visit report is generated at the end of an inspection. It works offline. There's a lot of things that it does. But that's the basic. Just what are we talking about here? It is a natively integrated inspection app that works in concert with Ekotrope Radar, the energy modeling platform. So there are two main ways that on-site can be customized. Because that's the one thing we've learned is that HERS raters use all different tools. They're all pretty much collecting the same minimum rated features, but it's done in various ways and it's shared with builders in various ways. The two main customizations in on-site are the inspection forms and the output reports. So the inspection forms are what your inspectors see, how when they're walking through a house, what photos are they taking, what data are they typing in, uh, what order is it in, all of that, what's required, what's not required. Uh, all of that is fully in the hands of the user to customize. Then the other piece is the output report. When they finish an inspection, what happens? A report is generated. And one of the things we've learned from working with folks and working with some of our early users is that these output reports are used for a wide variety of things. We've seen folks use them as code compliance documentation to share with the local jurisdiction. We've seen them used as ways to identify discrepancies in action items to share with your builder. We've also seen them used as internal processes where someone just wants like a clean list of, hey, here's all the photos I took. And then they'll do their own site visit report. They're used for a variety of things. But the most important thing is you can customize it and it can fit however you want it to fit into your process. We've now done a number of them. So here's an example from one of our customers, Burke. We have a failure and a pass. You get your company logo. You can have, this one has more action items here on the left. This one on the right, it has more, code compliance information like floor area. It gets cut off here, but a lot of site visit reports have diagnostic testing information as well. So this is some folks have action items way at the bottom, some have them at the top, all sorts of ways of doing these reports. Okay, so that's just kind of on-site 101. What are we talking about? So we're now going to go into what we've heard from some of our users, what they've learned from using on-site. So just a few quotes here. One thing I noticed about these quotes is they all call out fairly different items. Jacob with Burgess called out how much faster it sped up their team's ability to take photos. Brett over on the right talks about, hey, we're doing thousands of inspections a year, so if I can just speed up a few tasks across my whole inspection process, it really adds up fast. And then the one in the middle, Zach at EAM, uh, he mentioned that it removed some of the duplicate data entry and it really optimized his whole team's workflow. And that's something that I think we've seen is that it's a big part of it primarily touches the field inspectors, but it really streamlines and touches everyone in a rating company's workflow. And we'll get into that a little bit later. So that's been one of our biggest things that, raters have relayed to us is, on-site has helped with communication between members of their team and taking data from the scheduler to the inspector to the modeler to the QAD. Uh, Having all of that streamlined prevents a lot of, having to go back, rework things. And that on-site, it can fit with all steps of your process. It can really slide in where with your scheduling tools, uh, giving your inspectors what they need, your confirmation modeling teams what they need, and then QADs, they're able to see all the photos organized and named. And those can be, shared with ResNet if need be. Um, okay, so what has Ekotrope learned from doing 10,000 inspections, and how has that informed some of what we've developed over the last 9 months since we launched? Uh, so one of the biggest things is the file library. So what we've found is, yes, we have to collect the minimum rated features, and everyone has to do that, but it's just as important to be able to find, store, and review those photos uh, easily and be able to search quickly, find what you need. That's just as important as making sure the photo's there in the first place. In OnSite, when you take a photo, it's automatically named and tagged and put in the Ekotrope file library. You can also set certain photos to be required, so your inspector can never leave a site without the diagnostic testing result photo flagged multiple times, saying like, "Hey, you haven't taken your duct testing photo." Um, and then also on the projected modeling side, you can upload documentation to serve your inspectors down the road. So if you uploaded your Energy Star HVAC design report, your inspector, when using OnSite, could easily access their HVAC design report and see what the ventilation requirement for the home is, things like that. So this is one of the biggest things that we started on after launching OnSite is the file library is critical. Another piece is that scheduling is really important. Being able to easily schedule, a lot of times raters don't know where they're going until a day or two before they have to be there. Inspections kind of come fast. So making scheduling easy is really important. So one thing we've added is you can, now search by the Ekotrope project name. So you don't have to have a project ID or anything like that. You can just search, hey, in this screenshot, I put Main Street and it's showing all of the ones that say Main in the title. You also don't need an Ekotrope energy model to do an inspection. We've enabled to just do inspections without an energy model. You still it still stores all the photos and organizes it and gives you your site visit report. But if you get a call saying, "Hey, I need you out here right now to do diagnostic testing," you can do that, and nothing is lost along the way. We've also built the capacity to integrate with third-party project management softwares like Monday.com, Google Calendar, Bolt, etc. So it can fit how, again, it's built to fit with a number of different workflows and tools. Auden, I see we have a couple questions coming in. Is anything
Yeah,
kind of
I
wrong?
think there's a good one here for the previous slide. We were talking about how we label these photos, and they were asking like, does AI label these photos, and how often are correction needed to that labeling?
Yeah, great question. So we aren't using AI to label these photos. We'll get into it a little bit later. We're going to demo our inspection form builder, and I think that'll make this much clearer. But basically, there is let's take this photo in the bottom left. That's a distribution system photo. There will be a field in OnSite that says distribution test or duct leakage testing photo. And when whatever photo you put in that box will be named as the distribution system photo. So then when your modeling team is reviewing it, they're able to just search for a distribution system, and then boom, they get your manometer photos that you took. Does that answer the question? Anything you want to add, Auden?
No, that was very good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's keep rolling. So we're talking about scheduling. It's very flexible. This was something that we learned early on. We needed to add some flexibility and make this a little bit more streamlined. And we're at a point now where we can pretty much fit with any workflow. Okay. Another thing we've learned while working with folks doing the Ekotrope ONSITE is that everyone's collecting the same minimum rated features, but how they're collected, reviewed, and stored is dramatically different across the industry. How much, there's kind of this natural friction between the inspection field team and the modeling team. The inspection team, they want as streamlined a field data collection form as possible to get in and get out. And the office team often wants a really detailed form with model numbers and all sorts of things so that they can have everything they need to do that process. And each company lands in a slightly different place with that kind of split of responsibility. So that's something we've learned, and we've addressed that through the form builder, which we'll demo shortly, as well as setting the ability to require photos and make them easy to review through the file library. Okay. This brings us to part of our first demo section. You can now build inspection forms on your own. So this allows you to, it's a pretty powerful part of the app. You can set requirements. You can build in conditional logic where you can have things like, if this, then I get these questions. Like if I see an ERV, then I get prompted to take a photo of the, static pressure of the ERV, things like that. I'm expecting to see this wall assembly. If I'm not seeing that wall assembly, I then have to answer these questions about the wall assembly I'm seeing. We've also removed the cap on inspection forms. So you can have as many as you want. A lot of folks are now getting very detailed where they'll have several final inspection forms, maybe an energy code inspection form, a HERS, an Energy Star, DOE Zero Energy Ready, things like that, where each inspection form has exactly what that inspector is going to need to collect for that site visit report. We also have template forms. So we can help you build either based off the form you're already using, or you can use a template to build off of. So with that, I guess our other takeaway from the early adopters is that, being able to make these quick tweaks is really important. That, if I get pinged on some QA piece from ResNet, oh, I need to make sure this is being collected, or, there's a new Energy Star Rater field checklist revision. I need to update my form. That needs to happen quickly. So this now allows for that. With that, I'm now going to hand it over to Auden to share a bit of a demo for the form builder.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm gonna do a live demo here. That's always interesting. Hopefully, I have no problems. Gonna show on-site here, and I'm gonna go through a few different things you can do in Form Builder. The Form Builder can do a lot, so I'm not gonna go through everything, but just a few examples tied to what Patrick said. So, yeah, what you're seeing right now, and you can see my screen, right, Patrick?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. This is the landing page of OnSite. See our logo up here and what's scheduled for today. And the form builder, it lives all the way at the bottom. So if I just scroll down here, it's going to be a link here to the form builder. And you control access to the form builder yourself. So only your administrators will have access to this. It's a different role. You can say want that can be whoever you want it to be. And usually companies have one or two people who do kind of the form edits.
And out, and I'll also just say, some of these screens can be a little noisy. There's a lot of information. That's because we're Ekotrope admins, so we're kind of seeing a lot more stuff than you might see. You would just see kind of your inspection forms. So,
Yeah, correct. So when I go into the form builder, like you said, I'm going to see everyone's inspection forms. You would only see your own inspection forms as a customer. So the first thing I'm going to show you is what Patrick talked about, creating new forms and how people would like want to have specialized form for the exact type of inspection. So if I create the new form here, it opens up a menu, and I'm just going to go through this source part here. And you can start a new inspection form. You can either start it from blank, which means there's nothing there. This is pretty rarely used, I would say. What most people do is start either from another form or from a template. So from form means that you can choose all of your forms and it will copy that form, and you can just remove some sections or add some sections. So let's say you had Energy Star form. People usually start with that because that gathers the most data. You copy that form, you remove some of the Energy Star requirements, and you call it your first form. So yeah, that is the way most people start. And then we also have this other one from template, where in Ekotrope we built a lot of templates for you, so you don't have to like build out your Energy Star form from scratch. We built a template that has all the photo requirements in it. You can just pick that, and then you can go through and like reorder the section and make sure if it's your workflow.
yeah, and Auden, real quick, I think we have a question that's relevant here. Chris is asking, can this be used for non-HERS inspections? Like, let's say you get asked to do a attic humidity consultation or something like that. Could OnSite support that, or how would you go about doing that in Form Builder?
Yeah, so we fully support that, and it's sort of support like a bunch of different ways through our app. So in Form Builder, I would at that point maybe start with a blank form and just create that exact form that you want to create. So if it's an attic humidity consult, maybe you just have an attic section. You can then either still pull from the model the attic if you want to, or you can just dispatch an fully new project. You just enter the address, and we're going to store it in Ekotrope Radar, but you don't need to do any modeling for that. So yeah, we want to support all your inspections should be able to be done through OnSite is our goal here. And we have a lot of customers that do more non-HERS ratings than ratings through OnSite, so that works. Let me just go into one of the inspections and just widen this a little bit. So here there's a lot of information. Just going to quickly go through what you see. So here on the left side is the structure of the form. In the middle is what you would see, what the inspector will see in the field. And on the right side here is the field editor. So let's say that as a form builder, I've gotten feedback that the front elevation photo is often missing in the inspections, and when it is there, they're not always taking a photo, like it doesn't get the full home in the photo. So I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna scroll, I'm gonna find the front elevation photo here. And I can see that this is not required, and that is probably why it's missing. So I'm just going to click, and over on the right side here in the field properties, there's a property called required. So I'm going to toggle that on. And this now means that every time an inspector tries to submit this inspection, if they haven't included a front elevation photo, they will get a reminder saying you're missing the front elevation photo. The inspector still has the option to override that if they don't want to take the front elevation photo, but they will be clearly reminded that this photo is missing. So this should solve the problems where single photos are missing from the form. And then to make it clear that I want the full home in the picture, I could update the description. So make sure you capture the full home. And yeah, this is something we learned was that it was hard for our customers to kind of tell us exactly what they wanted to tell the inspectors when building these forms. So we focus on making it very easy to update this form, update the descriptions, and make it clear for the inspectors what they are supposed to capture in the field. So that's the second thing I want to show. And the last thing is going to be what Patrick mentioned about conditionality. So let's say, for example, I have an ERV photo. So I want the inspectors to take an ERV controller photo, but I only want them to take that photo if there is an ERV in the home. So we're gonna pull from the model, we're gonna pull the whole home mechanical ventilation. We're gonna pull exactly what type of ventilation it is. So that's what this section looks like. It's pulling data from Ekotrope Radar. And down here, I can see the ERV controller photo. So right now that photo will always be there, but I want to make it so that this photo is only there if the type of mechanical ventilation is an ERV. That is something you can control. It's under advanced options here on the right. So I open that and we have something called conditional visibility. So I'm just going to press show when, and then you're going to suggest some trigger fields. This time I suggest the ventilation type just because that's the first field in this section. And I'm going to select when that is an ERV, this photo is going to show. And then since now this photo is only showing when it's an ERV, I'm also going to make it required, which means that when this is an ERV, this photo is a requirement for inspector to take. But when it's not an ERV, it will not be there. They cannot take it. And they will also not be reminded to take it because there is no ERV in the home. So yeah, that was some examples of what you can do. You can do a lot more in Form Builder. And we're also updating this when we get more requests. But so far, our customers have been very happy with the flexibility of this tool. So let's say I've done all my updates. I'm going to just save it. And then I'm going to publish it. And it's going to ask me to add a note telling the inspectors what I've updated. So made from elevation required. And added ERV. So now all the inspectors will get this message the next time they open the app and they will see the new updated form.
Awesome. Thank you, Auden. And I mean, there's a lot on the screen right now. I know the form builder, it can be a little visually overwhelming, but that's because it's so powerful and can do so much. That we wanted to show a few things, but there's a lot you can do here. And we just wanted to show a couple pieces. But the moment Auden hits publish, it goes to the inspectors and they'll see these updated forms. Um, all right. Thank you, Auden. We will have another demo here shortly, which is very exciting because it involves some AI and AHRI integration, but that's just to tease it a little bit. Um, we'll we want to go through a few more things here. So I was talking about Form Builder, and we really invested in this because we found that getting folks' inspection forms dialed in is really critical to getting all the benefits of onsite. Okay, this next section is another thing we've learned over time. As folks have done inspections, uh, you know, we've been able to put together data insights based on a company's usage of onsite. And these are shared with uh, rating companies. You can answer questions like, how long does my team spend on average at each inspection, for when they open the inspection to when they submit it? Which builders have the longest time between pre-drywall and final? Which inspectors take the most photos? What are the most common discrepancies? And break that down by builder, things like that. And we've started sharing this data as we've looked at it a little bit. And I think I could see down the road this becoming a bigger part of onsite, that it, uh, it helps speed up your inspection process and your photo review process and all that, but it also just gives you another layer of visibility into your team's operations. And we were talking to someone the other day who they're now using it to forecast, okay, if these are our average times between inspections for these builders, then they're able to now forecast when their field teams are going to get busier and when they're going to be less busy, so that they can maybe take on other projects, things like that. So it's also becoming a just project management, company optimization resource. And like this is an example of average time. Like you can now see, okay, Pulte, I'm going to expect, it's going to take 2 to 3 months. Okay, DR Horton, it's going to take a month and a half between inspections. And you can kind of get more visibility into the lead and not be kind of just always responding to whenever the phone rings or whenever a builder posts a new inspection in their tool. Um, and I guess the last thing I'll say on this is like this is a fairly new development that we're just starting to do. As folks, as this continues, I think we'll learn more. And again, we're doing this in collaboration with our users, where they're saying, "Hey, we'd like to see this information." We're like, "Okay, we can go and pull that together and figure out a way to collect it and share it." All right. Looks like Levi raised his hand. Levi, feel free to put any question you have in the Q&A section down at the bottom. We'd be happy to answer it. All right. So we've covered a lot about where we've gone with onsite so far, what we've learned, how it's evolved. We're now going to go to where is it going? What's next? We've gotten this far. We've been developing onsite for about a year, so it's going to continue to expand. And you know, everything you're seeing here is available today. What we're about to show from here on out is coming very soon. Um, all right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna handle this part. Thank you, Patrick. I'm just gonna start by kind of summarizing a little bit what Patrick had been talking about, and from our last webinars, we demoed how the inspection was working, and we kind of invited customers to help build it with us, and like really make a statement on how this was built. So now, after 10,000 inspections, we feel like we've gone a little further, and we have proven that OnSite is a fully built and working inspection tools. And this is directly feedback from our customers. We know that OnSite it's fast in the field, it's quicker than most home built tools, and it's competitive with other commercial inspection apps out there when it comes to just the speed of the inspection in the field. We've also seen that it's connected and these connections work really well. So, data flows automatically between our Radar product, our on-site product, and we have built all the endpoints. So you can easily integrate any other project management tool or any other tool you want that want data out of on-site or Radar. So the information flow is automated, and you can kind of build your other tools next to this in addition. Another thing we've been focusing on is the onboarding. We know, we've learned from this that, you're not just stopping your business to start to start using a new inspection tool. You have to be able to onboard OnSite as inspection tool while doing everything else that you're doing at the same time. So we've been focusing on how to kind of speed this up. The form builder is a quick part of making sure you don't have to run parallel inspections for long. And we also have a lot of experience now from our other customers how to do this onboarding, and we'll help you through it. We'll be there with you to make sure there's a seamless transition period from what you're using now to how you're using OnSite.
Yeah,
And
I think the one analogy I've heard is like it's like trying to change a tire driving 60 miles an hour down the road. that's what it can feel like. But we've been focused on it to try to make it easier.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, And then the last thing is, and which I've seen comments here, just this works for all inspections. And yeah, now on-site works for all inspections. We built it so you can make whatever inspection form you want. You can dispatch it. It will show up together with the other inspections. You'll find all the data in Radar. So it works for any types of inspections, not just HERS inspections. But if it's anything Radar related, we're going to be able to help you more and we'll have all the templates and everything for that. Um, so yeah, that's where we are. And if you move on to the next slide, Patrick, I see Aiden is here with us today too. And remember back in December, he asked, I haven't heard AI mentioned once. What's up with that in our previous webinar? And that's true. We focused on building a functioning inspection tool first, but now we're at a place where we really see AI is becoming more and more integrated with OnSite. And I'm going to demo a feature that we are now very close to release. So if you click on the next one, Patrick, um, we see that one of the things that every inspection company does is take photos of the model numbers. And some people have their inspector type down the model number. Some people just take a photo and have their office staff type down the model number. But whatever you do, someone has to look at that photo and type out this model number. And we have now implemented a way to use AI to read this model number for you so that you don't have to type it out. And this it's very straightforward. Just point the camera at the nameplate. We will read the model number. And then, we're going to sync this back to Radar and we're going to look it up in your library. We're going to look it up in our AHRI integration. And so we're going to look it up in product listings too to see if we can find the exact mechanical equipment that this model number is matching. So that's coming very soon. And let me just demo the on-site part of this. So I'm going to take over the screen here. So yeah, what am I sharing? I'm sharing the right thing. So just to show you, this is again what on-site looks like. And this time, like the previous inspection you were using on-site, or the previous demo, you're usually using on-site in the office to build the forms. This time you're going to be in the field. It's the same app, but it's probably going to look a little narrower because you're going to use your phone or your tablet or whatever tool you want to use in the field. So I'm going to make it look like this. I'm going to scroll down here. This is just a demo built right now, but this would probably be like in with your mechanical equipment. And the way it works is you have a box there where you have a photo and you have an extracted value that we extract from the photo. So I'm going to show a few different examples. I'm going to start with one photo that you probably all seen 100 times. So this is just like the label and mechanical equipment. And as a human and as a Radar RFI, going to be pretty simple to find the model number right here at the top. And let's see what the AI was able to do. Yeah, so it did extract the model number. This is done live, just and it also kind of had an option here. And it takes about half a second for the AI to look at this photo and extract this model number. Since this is AI, we're not able to make this 100%. I'm going to show a few different options where it's not as good. So let's say I'll have another photo. All of these photos I fetched from real inspections. So let's look at this one. You can see here, it's still for human pretty clear to see the model number here in the middle, but there are some model numbers and it doesn't really have the same sticker format as the previous photo. So what happens here is the AI was still able to fetch the correct model number, but it wasn't 100% sure, so it brought up some other suggestions to in case it didn't know. So it found some other text and it's like, maybe they're actually looking at this, the V number after the V there. Maybe that's the model number. So it will suggest it. And the inspector can then just like click on the correct one. I'm going to show one example also where the AI is unable to find the model number. So let's say here, this is again a real photo from an inspection. Here it is a little blurry. The photo is upside down, and the label is kind of just labeled like this, not the standard format. And the AI was here unable to find the correct model number. The inspector in the field will then have a couple of options. They can either just override it and enter the correct model number here, or maybe, can try to take a less blurry photo that is the right way with upside up. So let me just show you what that looks like. I'm gonna take the same photo, I'm gonna turn it 180 degrees, and then, now that is the upside up, the AI is able to read the model number from the photo.
Yeah, and Auden, I thanks for showing this. This is great. I think the piece here that we're trying to solve for is uh, really just saving the manual data entry of typing in a model number. Just takes a long time. It's a lot of clicks. And if OnSite can do it correctly most of the time, let's say 80% of the time, that's a lot of keystrokes that it's saving your team. Obviously, this is done in the field, so it is still going to go to the office, and the modeling team is still going to need to review the photo, make sure it's all correct, make sure the AHRI matches up, and before they confirm it. But this is definitely a time saver here.
Yeah, thank you. I do see there's some questions here that's related to this. One is like, what if we lose connectivity? OnSite is designed to work fully offline, so losing connectivity is not a problem. And this AI model is also running on your device, so even this automatic model number reading will work when you are offline. And then will the AI model number reading have a confidence score? So right now it does not. It have different options that you can see. Like it has an internal confidence score. When it is less confidence, it's going to provide you different options. We'll continue to develop this, but the point here is, like Patrick said, it's pretty easy for the inspector to see the model number. So, if it's wrong, the inspector will know immediately. I know you have people doing verifications later also. So it's more kind of a tool to speed that up. I agree. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the presentation if you can share again, Patrick.
Yep, sure thing. Do, 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 do. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the model number reading, and then if you click the next one.
Well, just real quick, Auden, I do want to just call out the paired with AHRI search. In
Yeah.
Ekotrope, we've launched AHRI search based on AHRI reference number. We're working hard and getting pretty close to being able to do that based on model numbers. So when you tie on-site, automatically pulling the model number, let's say 80% of the time, and then able to match that automatically when it comes into Rater, and all the confirmation person needs to do is look at the photo. Does it match up? Okay, is this the right AHRI? Move on. You don't have to type anything in. You don't have to go to the AHRI database. That's powerful.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, this was the demo slide. If we
Oh,
move one
gotcha. Yeah.
more. This is what's coming next. So, and I see there's a question about this too. We think just model number reading, it was an easy place for us to start. But we see a lot of potentials with these photos, and we've done some discovery. One of the things we found that are kind of on the easier side is actually window sticker reading. They all have the same format, these window stickers, and there's a lot of text that is entered directly into the model. So reading that and having the AI automatically fill out the U values, the width, the length, all of that is pretty straightforward. So that is something we want to work on. Also with photos, we have seen the possibility to do other quality assurance things. This might be in OnSite or it might be in Rater, but examples of that would be like if you have a tag that says blower door photo, AI can look at that photo and make sure it's actually a photo of a blower door and not, let's say, the radar foot that was uploaded by accident. So we want to do those kind of AI checks and then flag them before they submit, saying like, we don't think this is a blower door photo. Can you just look at it, make sure it's a blower door photo, and if not, maybe re-upload a different photo. And then we start now with model numbers, but every kind of text that you're taking a photo of, we want to automate to eliminate manual data entry. So we know serial numbers people are capturing out there, and other text, another field that you're kind of just, it's very easy to verify. We want to automate. And
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes to like what we've been talking about with onsite. It's like everybody has their own process, but we're all kind of collecting the same data. If we can provide tools that just make it easier for the inspector to collect the information, for the modeler to see it, and for the QAD to review it, and it's just smooth, that's going to make for more time for everyone to actually work on things like making recommendations to builders or, you know, doing preliminary testing. Like it's just freeing up more time to better serve builders in the role of a HERS rater.
yeah, exactly. Thank you. So yeah, that's what's coming. I think the last slide is our thank you slide. Um, so yeah, thank you very much for listening, and I think we can move into kind of our Q&A part. Uh,
Awesome. Auden, I've seen quite a few questions about offline use. Would you mind just speaking a bit more to how onsite works offline?
yeah. So on-site, it's again, it's built to work offline, and the way we do this is we have a process called the dispatching process. So the scheduler or whoever, before the inspectors go offline, they will dispatch all the projects that the inspector is gonna inspect the next day. And then what the inspector will have to do is open the app up the first time when they are in an area with service, and the app will download all the inspections for that day that they're going to do. So everything will be stored locally on the device, and they can fill out the form. They can have no reception, they can have a little bit of reception. It doesn't matter. We're not trying to sync anything. Then, when the inspector has finished the inspection, they will have to submit this to sync it back into the cloud. And this is where if they try to submit, you can always press it, it's safe. If the app sees that there's no connection, it's just going to put the submission in a queue. If it sees that there is some connection, it's going to try. If it's unable to submit all the photos, for example, it's going to go back to the queue, and the inspector will be prompted saying like, this was not submitted because there wasn't enough service. And they can resubmit the inspection and make sure everything is uploaded when they're back in an area with service. So yeah, it's fully built to work offline, and we have customers in all kind of reception areas, and this is something we spent a lot of time on in the last 6 months, is to make sure everything is synced in a timely manner and no photos are lost along the way.
Awesome. Thank you. I think there I also a couple questions about AHRI that I'd like to speak to. You know, the example that we showed was just one mechanical system, but this model number reading will work for whatever systems you see in the house. So if you collect an outdoor unit, an indoor unit, and then maybe also a furnace, it will look at all three of those model numbers and try to find an AHRI match for all that is for all three of those. It's not just going to look for, you know, because otherwise you'll get a list of 10,000 systems if you just look at the outdoor system. So it is trying to find the specific AHRI for that unique combination of mechanical equipment.
Yeah. And just to expand that a little bit, like in on-site, you're gonna have to choose what kind of equipment it is. So if it is a water heater, we're gonna have one model number and search HRI. Well, if it's an AC, we're gonna have three slots for model numbers that you have to fill in for the search.
Awesome. We do have a question here about pricing and scalability. Uh, I guess to answer that, pricing does scale based on company size. So It's basically based on how many users you have and how many inspections how many homes you inspect. So the more of each of those, the more expensive it is. The fewer of those you do, the less expensive it is. Um, and then there's some questions about integrating with other databases like HVI and NEAP. Uh, at this point, we're focused on AHRI. We do have HVI data for mechanical ventilation product listings, and I could see us eventually implementing, other databases like appliance databases. But at this point, we're focused on AHRI because that's what we've heard as the most time-consuming and difficult database to pull information from, and is also ultimately the most important from a QA perspective. Uh, here's a question for you, Auden. There's some questions about devices. What are most inspectors using? Tablet, phone? Is there one we recommend over another? Um, sometimes phones have better picture quality, but tablets can work more quickly. What would you suggest?
Yeah, so we have customers using both. OnSite is built for both phones and tablets. I don't really have a recommendation work for both, but I know like a lot of our customers are just using their phone actually. It's very easy, just use the phone. So if you care a lot about photo quality, I would use your phone. If you want like the bigger screen, it's more about filling it out faster than the tablet. So yeah, it's more dependent on you than the app.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, we talked about offline functionality. Uh,
Yeah, and I see like offline is also if Ecotrope goes down, everything is stored on locally on your device. So even if Ekotrope goes down, if like AWS goes down, the tool will still work. You will just won't be able to sync until we're back up.
mhm. Here's a good question from Patrick Daly. Can you embed links to reference docs, like checking the state code or municipal utility websites? The answer to that is yes. So something we didn't show during the form builder section is you can write guidance on every question. So at the top of the utility section, you could put a link to the local utilities guidelines, or things like that. So you can absolutely customize your references and what you're guiding your inspectors to collect. Um, so.
Yeah. And in addition to that, I think you mentioned this, Patrick, but in the file gallery in Ecotrope Radar, whatever file you upload there will be visible in the fields. I know some people will upload maybe a half-filled Energy Star checklist or like other guidance as a PDF, and they will be able to see this in the field.
Yeah, I think the HVAC design report is a great example of that,
Yeah.
where if that gets uploaded at the beginning, field inspectors can reference it. Also, like if you're doing a final inspection, but you didn't do the pre-drywall on that home, you would have access to all of the photos and the inspection report from the pre-drywall. So you could kind of quickly see, like, what am I dealing with here? What am I walking into? Um, Okay, there's a question about if you can work on a phone and a tablet at the same time and have them sync up. I believe the answer to that is no. It only works on one device at a time. Um, so that,
Yeah. The reason is for it to work fully offline, we cannot sync while they're in the field. So have to do this at one device at a time.
great. Thanks. Do we have a study guide or other teaching aids that I can use to educate RFIs and modeler students? I would say we don't have anything at the moment, but uh, absolutely, we think that's something we've heard is that on-site it's really helpful for folks that are new to the industry because it really can walk you through step by step. So uh, I think that's something that we'd be interested in talking more about. If you want to build some guides, we can definitely help with that and provide some resources to do that. Uh, okay.
There is
Question.
one question here about the app crashing. So, ever experienced a crash where photo is lost between on-site and home when syncing? Let's say I'm in the middle of taking like 15 photos outside and the app crashes or freezes, or the photos lost and have to be retaken once the app restarts. And this is something we've been experiencing and been working a lot on. So it's just when you have this issue with connection, um, things
Yeah,
can get
with
lost. And I thank
offline
our
inspections, right?
Hmm?
Offline inspections primarily. That can some.
Yeah, or inspections with poor service. And we've been working with this is like, you get benefits of being an early adopter and you get some drawbacks. This photo losing thing was something one of our early adopters experienced a lot. And we've been putting a lot of work into preventing that from happening. So now we back everything up local. If the app crashes, you'll still be able to access these photos and you can download them as a zip file. You have the option to take a backup of every single photo that you take, so it will automatically be backed up in your file library to prevent photos from being lost. And we also make sure to check that the photos are present in the cloud in Radar before we delete anything from your phone. So yeah, this was something we did experience, but we are pretty confident that we've solved all of those issues now with the app, like freezing or losing connection in the middle of a sync and photos disappearing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the 10,000 number is a testament to it is working, it is performant. There've been a few edge cases that have had issues, but we're now at a place where no, you will not lose photos. If something does happen, everything's backed up and there's no problem. Okay, there's a question about how this interacts with QA. So the way this works with QA is because it is sending all of your photos into Ekotrope. When the project is shared with your provider and the provider reviews it, they will be able to see all of your photos and everything will be labeled for them. We've had a number of providers pretty excited about this because it makes their job easier. We've also now started enabling sharing with ResNet, where if ResNet is QAing a provider, that provider can elect to share those photos directly with them. So it's also making that process smoother. Okay, we have a question about pricing. So happy to talk pricing. It's basically a per home fee and a per user fee. Um, there's a few different kind of tiers that we have based on how many homes you process, but happy to talk more in depth about that. I don't plan to share that just on the webinar publicly at this point. Um, can raters pull a form they worked on in the past, or does everything need to be dispatched? Um, so with that, I would say you can absolutely do multiple inspections on a home, and you can see past inspections. But once you do an inspection, that's kind of it for that inspection. You're not like you did an inspection, you can do another inspection on that home, but you can't like reopen an inspection you've already completed. Um, all right. Can you upload photos from your camera roll? Yes. So everywhere there's a line for a photo in the app, you can either take a photo with your camera or upload from your phone. Uh, would a scheduler count as a user? Yes. If you have access to OnSite, you are considered a user. Um, isn't there a standardized pricing format? Um, Yeah, so it's the format is per home. So um how many homes do you inspect with OnSite, and then how many active users you have. That's the format. So yeah. All right. Well, wow, 3 o'clock on the dot. All right. Well, we really appreciate everyone sticking around till the end. And we'll please reach out. My email is Patrick at Ekotrope. Auden is Auden at Ekotrope. You can also reach out to just info at Ekotrope. We'd be happy to talk about how OnSite could work and be customized for your specific team. Um, and yeah, we'll continue to work on it. But it's going to keep getting better. So now's the time to jump on board. This webinar will be posted on YouTube and it will be shared with you afterwards. That'll probably happen tomorrow. It just takes a while to get the video up, but we appreciate everybody joining and have a great day.